Here are the items you will need for your project. Obviously your new lights, these are kind of expensive, but they're easy to work with. So I recommend them. They're either at Home Depot or Lowe's. You can pick them up. If you're doing a basement like me, I recommend probably doing some 6s. It's a 6. Right here's a 6. And some of these guys, the smaller ones. It's going to be really bright if you just do all 6s. Back to it, right here, you got your sniffer, your wire strippers, got your electrical tape. Then we got our screwdriver, flathead, and Phillips. Got a utility knife, wire nuts, music, and your handy dandy flashlight. I've already put one 6-inch light in right here. It's obviously not in the ceiling yet, but I'm going to show you why I recommend them. Here are the different light settings that you can switch to with these. So first thing when working with electrical, you want to identify which wires are your hot and which one is your neutral. And using your sniffer, that is obviously the easiest way to find it. What it does is it detects if wires are hot or not. This is a big tip. Look, so it's hot. Now if I turn this light off, obviously it's going to stop the power flow, electricity, whatever you want to call it. It's saying that I'm good right now, and I'm only YouTube certified, so I don't want to find out if I'm good or not, even with this being off at the switch. So the best place to go is to the breaker. So when you head to your breaker, you're going to want to find which one obviously is your one to turn off that light. So we're going to go to basement for me, basement main lights. You know, I could check this wire right here. It's dead, and I made sure the light was on. So I'm going to try doing it again to make sure this light's off. It's obviously off, so I have no power to this guy anymore. Okay, so we got the light hanging, obviously. Now this runs to its little box right here with these long white and black wires. You can't see shit. Box right here, which is getting its power from either this guy right here running into there or that one running over there. Not sure, I don't want to find out, but it obviously has no power right now. But you kind of get the gist. So these two wires run to this guy, which is the new light, and these two right here run to this guy. So the next thing you're going to need is your wire cutters, wire strippers. Obviously sliding your wire all the way to the back here will cut your wire off. And then depending on what grade your wire is, will depend on which one you use to strip the wire off. And it is important to do that to make sure you are not cutting the wire at all and just stripping off the outside of the wire. Go ahead and cut this wire right off right here. Our light is now free. So what you're going to want to do, these are 16 gauge wires, I believe. So what I do here is line it up to the 16. So obviously I got these off now. It's kind of like a fingernail's length, really. Another thing to look for is to make sure you don't have any splices in your wire that are not supposed to be. Like if I had a cut back here, sorry, the lighting is terrible. I would turn on the breaker, but obviously that would not be a good idea. Make sure you don't have any cuts in your wire because obviously you don't want that wire to be exposed. All right, so here we got our light. This is what comes in when you buy the package if you do decide to go that way. Easiest way to do this is to screw this off and then just pull it out. And then you'll deal with this guy later once you're all done. And then this will be your important spot where you get to use, here we go. This has a tab. Just pull that out. Here's your guys. Now, these have little wire connectors where you could actually insert the wire into there and not even have to worry about wire nuts or anything. But since the wires that are up there are like many little pieces, if it was just one solid piece of copper, then I'd use this. But since they're not, I actually just am going to cut all these off. These are going to be your screws to screw your box onto your joist or whatever you want to decide to do. I'm going to screw these in just because they might be a little bit easier to play with. See you later. And then here's your light adjusters. Okay, so I'm going to take my snips. I hope you guys can see this because this is the best it's going to get. So I'm just going to take my snips and cut as close as possible, just so I can use as much wire as I need. I'm going to save these tops just in case if I need them for anything. So I'm kind of leaving a little bit extra just so I can pull those out eventually. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is try to see, because I'm blind because I was looking in the flashlight. I'm going to try to do the same thing, like a fingernail's length. And so obviously you just want to pair up your two colors. I have my white wires right here. And these are, like I said, they're like 1,000 pieces of copper. So I'm just going to twirl them together. Kind of like a tie, just keep twisting it. Before you put your wires on when using these boxes, make sure you throw your wires through this hole first, because if you tie them together before putting them in there, you can't get your wires obviously in the box. So feed your wires out through the box, or feed your wires in through the box, whatever's easiest, and then we'll deal with it later. But it's easier for me to pull these wires through here and then feed them through afterwards. All right, so these wires are twisted together. I kind of let it hang, because if these wires can't stay together just hanging, I don't trust them to be together in the box. So if the wires were to fall, then I know, okay, I'm going to retighten them. The next thing you want to get is your wire caps, your electrical tape, and your utility knife. So all you're going to do with these is just put them on here and then tighten it basically all over again. Just like that. All right, I'm trying a different camera angle to see if you guys can see anything better. So I got that wire tightened on there. Next thing I want to do is do the same thing to the black one. And you pretty much want to go until you just feel it grab pretty good. So got these both on there. You should be able to try to pull that off and it won't come off. If it does, then you obviously know you don't have a good connection. So as you look into the flashlight, you try to grab your tape again. All you gotta do, this is just for a safety precaution, just in case your stuff would fall off. You obviously pray that it will not do that, but for extra protection, it never hurts to electrical tape your cap to the wire. The wires are taped and together. These puppies aren't going anywhere. They're separate. Make sure you keep them separate. Now I'm just gonna feed it into this box. All right, so real quick, I did cut that one back and put a wire nut cap on it, just by itself hanging in there. I don't know if you need to, if it's recommended or what, but that's what I decided to do there. So that's what I did. All right, so the wires are now in there. They are safe, secure. I'm just gonna close the lid. All right, so after misplacing your drill and looking all over the damn house for it, you can finally screw in your box. I don't do this too tight because there's no reason to, really. So that's where I put it, and then I'm gonna just run this wire. My dog has no patience, and it's literally just gonna connect right there. Okay, so we obviously got our light in here. Wires are all connected safely in that box, and I made it easier so I can adjust. Up here is where my adjuster is. My handy dandy flashlight fell. My ground is obviously in that box, but here is my actual ground. They grounded the main wires in there, so you don't have to ground your splits. I don't know if this is correct terminology for this stuff, but let's go ahead and test our light. So I always keep this off, just so when I turn this on at the breaker, it doesn't blow me up. My number, turn that on. My lights are not on, which is what I want, because I just want to see if anything happens crazy when I turn this light on. And if everything goes well, we're perfect. If you found any of this information useful, please drop a like and subscribe. If you want to stick around, make sure you turn the notifications on to see more updates of this house. This basement already looks 1,000 times different. And to see the rest of it be complete, make sure you turn the notifications on. I'll see you next time. Peace.